Welcome to Watercolor with Viv. Today we're going to do a fall leaf demo. The first thing you need to do is wet your leaf with clear water. Make sure the whole leaf is pretty wet. Then you'll take a little bit of rose and a little bit of the gold and mix it to make a nice orange. And then you're just going to start randomly dropping it all around the leaf. You're also going to add just some of the rose by itself and some of the gold by itself. You do this in the middle. Oh, let me tell you, in the middle, keep that white. You don't want the paint to gravitate toward the middle of the leaf because we want to leave that as a white highlight. So that's why I dabbed it off. Now just continue to go around the leaf with the different colors, letting them mix and mingle. Work quickly because it's still wet and you don't want to start putting it on there when it's dry because it'll leave hard edges. You want to keep working around the leaf fairly quickly, mixing and mingling the colors. I'm using orange that was made from the rose and the gold, and then I'm using the pure rose and the pure gold in spots. And I'm just randomly putting it in there. And where I think it needs to be darker, I'm just coming back in and just touching more into that area. And you'll want to work around the leaf until you get all of the edges of the leaf done, remembering to keep the center of the leaf without any color. You don't want the whole leaf to be painted. Once you get the whole leaf with these random splotches of color around the leaf, then you'll want to let it dry completely, and then we're going to go on to our next step once it's dry completely. So what we're doing now, we're going to leave this alone, let it dry completely, and we're going to go to the very next step. And in the very next step, we are going to take the colors that we've used again. Now this is completely dry here, and I'm coming back over it, and I'm taking the colors that we've just used, and I paint it on there, and then I'm taking clear water and just blending it in. What we're doing is we're painting the sections in between the veins of the leaf. You don't want to get the veins wet. We want to keep the vein area dry. So we're just painting the little sections in between each vein. And then we're going to let this dry. We're going to work our way around the leaf doing the sections, and there's different ways you can do it. You can do it with the putting the paint first and then coming back with clear water and spreading it, or you can put clear water down first and then add the paint to it. Right now I'm just doing the paint, and then I'm kind of spreading it with a little bit of clear water in the larger areas. And here, see how I'm coming back with a little clear water and just spreading that on down into the whole area. On larger areas, you may want to paint it with the clear water first and then put the paint in it. On these smaller areas, I'm coming in with the paint first and then bringing in a little wet paintbrush and just softening it out and smoothing it and blending it down. On this one, I'm painting it first. Now I'm going to take clear water and just blend it. So those are two techniques you can use. You can put the paint down first, then take clear water and blend it out, or you can put down clear water first, which is what I'm doing now. You'll put the clear water over the section, and then you'll come back in and just drop the paint in and let it flow naturally where it's going to go. So those are the two techniques you can use going around the leaf. And then you'll just continue to go around. Remember, the colors that you're using here on top, try to match them to that underpainting. So if the underpainting is the rose color, like the tip of this leaf we've just finished, then put the rose color on top of it. Where I'm working right now, it's pretty orange, so I'm putting the orange on top of that, and so on, so that you can just kind of keep it cohesive and keep them all the colors going in the right direction, I guess. Just keeping all the colors united and consistent. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, because it's really important, keep those veins dry. Don't paint over the veins because the colors will bleed together and you'll lose your nice crisp veins. And we're going to need those on the next step, the next big step. So we're just going to keep on painting around the leaf, each little section, leaving the veins dry, leaving the middle white, because we want to leave that highlight there in the middle. And we're just going to do it with two different types of techniques. You can either wet it first and then float the color into the water, or you can put the color down and then take clear water and pull it down and blend it out. So those are the two techniques we're using for the sections, and you can use either one. You can use them both together. It doesn't matter. They both work equally well. I have found that when you're in the smaller areas, it works better just to put the color in and then take a damp brush and blend it out. On the larger sections, like I'm doing right here, it works better to put the clear water down and then just float the color in on top of that water and let them blend together. So that's what I usually do. On the smaller ones, I put the paint first, blend it out with water. On the larger sections, I put the clear water like I'm doing here, and then I'm coming back in with the paint and letting it blend over that clear water. It's a faster technique, and it gets you going better. And on the smaller ones, it's kind of hard to do that, because if you blob the water in, the paint in on top of the water, sometimes it just doesn't do right. So I like the smaller, tinier sections at the tip of the leaf, I like to just paint those in with the color and not float it in on clear watercolor. And again, I want you to see this close up, because I want you to see how I'm not painting over the veins. And you can see my pencil lines. I'm not painting over the veins. I'm leaving those dry. I'm going right next to them, putting a little clear water. Now I'm about to come in with some paint and just flood that clear water. And I'm leaving those veins dry, because I'm going to need those in the last step. I'm going to need them to be dry, and it also helps them kind of pop out, because remember, light comes forward, dark goes backwards. So it'll help the veins pop out at you and look like they're three-dimensional. Now we're just going to keep working, around the leaf and do each little section. I know it seems tedious, but the result's really pretty. And we're remembering to keep our colors consistent. If it's gold underneath, we're painting the gold on top for the sections. All right, now we've let this dry, and we're going to come back and we're going to mix up the sap green, the Windsor blue, the gold, and the rose all together to make a nice rich brown. And then we're going to decide where our shadow is going to be. So it's going to be to this side, to the right side, as you're looking at it. And we wet it down, and then we're just going to take some of this brown mixture, and we're going to start defining the veins. Now, you don't want it to be dark on both sides of the veins. You want it darker on one side. Also, when you paint, you don't want to make it a one straight line down the vein. Break up the lines, make them short lines, skip some areas. That leaves it makes it have better interest. Anywhere there's like a little fork, make that little area darker. And then I'm coming back with some transparent yellow on the thicker part of the vein and just drawing the top part of the vein, and it makes it look a little more rounded. And again, you don't draw just a straight line, the same thickness all the way down the vein. You want to skip some areas. You want to make it darker in some areas, lighter in some areas. That gives it a lot of visual interest. See, when we back up, it looks more realistic when you back away from it, when you don't just do straight lines. If you just draw the vein straight down to the tip of the leaf, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look natural. Just remember that each of the little curves, the little forks in the vein, they do need to be darker, because they tend to stand out more. They catch the shadows, or I should say the light doesn't hit them as well in those little nooks. So I like to make the nooks a little bit darker, and again, don't draw straight lines. Just do short little strokes, skip some areas. Also, you can use the darker brown, or you can thin it out. Use a little of the gold just to give it a little color variation. Makes it look a little more realistic. And you'll just keep doing all the veins around the whole leaf like this, the same way. And I'm making the veins on the right part of the vein darker because the sun is coming from the left side. So the right side of the veins, and when I say right side, I mean as we're looking at the leaf to your right. That's what we're making darker because the sun is coming from the opposite direction. So when you figure out where you want your light source to come from, and on the opposite side of that is where you want your shadows on your veins. Now on this side where the light is hitting it, the veins will be just a little bit lighter. I'm not going to make them as dark because there's more light on this side than there is on the other side, because the light is coming from this direction. So my veins will be a lighter color, but I'm still going to do the skip around. I'm not going to draw straight lines for my veins. I'm just going to draw sort of choppy lines, skip some areas, make some areas lighter, some darker, and just make sure you don't make it one thick line. It won't look realistic. And as we go around, we're just going to make them a little bit lighter on this side. I'm just taking some clear water, blending it out so that it looks more like a shadow right along the base of the vein there, that main vein. And I'll come up here and do a little darker here. It'll be darker up there because the vein is thicker and it's more raised. And then over here on the leaf stem, we're going to darken that up, just give it a little more interest. Keep on putting in the veins. We're almost to the finish line. It's really simple techniques. This is really a simple painting to complete. I hope that you do it. I would love to see it. You can come over to my Facebook page and post it over there if you do it. In my private group, it is Watercolor with Viv, just like my YouTube channel. Anyway, you'll keep on doing this until you get all of the veins in, and then you will have a beautiful leaf. Now I have also provided a link, and in that link in the description you can get the outline drawing and the supply list, so you'll know what colors to use, what brushes to use, what paper I used, and what colors of paint, if I didn't say that already. And you'll also get an outline drawing of the leaf. So if you want to try this project on your own, you'll have it there. You can come back and watch the video anytime, and you can practice it. So if any of y'all want to take advantage of that, I am leaving the link in the description, and it'll take you where you can get the outline drawing and the supply list for this project. And we're almost to the finish line here. I'm just doing a little bit of the transparent yellow here and there just to give it a little bit more interest, adding a little bit of the brown in some areas. You know, just use your artistic license, and be sure to download the supply list and traceable outline. Thanks for watching.